the Miami Dolphins. I'm not a fan of their coaching staff. That's well documented. But analytics is going to cost you your job. There were several opportunities for them to just take the field goal, just take the points. Greetings and salutations and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast, the authentic voice of sports leadership where coaching wisdom meets real talk. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and on today's Top Shelf Tuesday edition, Week 11 wrap-up, the Brian Daboll era ends in New York City. We're going to talk a little bit about the NFL report card problems. We're going to preview Week 12 and also celebrate episode 700 of the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am rolling solo tonight, and it would be apropos as we do 700. So let's go ahead and get started. So the best thing I saw today was the fact that the Carolina Panthers are 6-5 after Week 11. For years, I think this is like the third year in a row, I've just picked the over for Carolina because I'm always thinking they're right around the corner. They're about to turn it. And every year, it's just hadn't worked out for me. This year just might be the year. They're in second place right now, and they've got a shot. So again, kudos to the Carolina Panthers. The worst thing that I saw today was coaching and clock management. The Miami Dolphins. I'm not a fan of their coaching staff. That's well documented. But analytics is going to cost you your job. There were several opportunities for them to just take the field goal, just take the points, get 3 points, move on to the next round, move on to the next play. And they kept passing it up and passing it up and passing it up. The Washington Commanders were no better. So I'm not understanding the coaching and the clock management that I saw in the Madrid game. So again, it's an area of growth that people need to work on. And the most surprising thing I saw today, something I used to tell my players when I coach, everybody wants to play until it's time to play. In other words, guys moan and complain about their opportunities, and if I was in, I would do this, I would do that. Well, two things happen. Off the field, wide receiver Keon Coleman of the Buffalo Bills didn't want to attend meetings, didn't want to do the little things, so the team sat him down, still won the game. And on the field, Shedeur Sanders just looked like he hasn't put all of the time and energy necessary to be the best quarterback he can be. I could be wrong, and I'm not hating on Shedeur, but that was an underwhelming performance, and he's got to do better. And when this comes out, the national media is going to scream and holler, and half the people are going to be like, give Shedeur a chance. The other half are going to be like, he had a chance and didn't play well. And I'm just going to say, hey, you never know when your opportunity is going to come. So you got to take advantage of each and every opportunity, and you got to prepare and be ready instead of getting ready. So with that, in segment 2, we're going to take a dive down the New York Football Giants and their situation. And also, NFL is kind of mad about those report cards. I'll give you my thoughts on it. Be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast.
Today's student athletes face pro-level challenges without pro-level support. The CKA SAVE project is here to change that. For 16 plus years, Dr. Keith Adams and his team have provided comprehensive academic and athletic support from middle school through post-graduation transitions. NIL guidance, transfer portal navigation, academic coaching, career planning, they've got it covered. The CKA SAVE project. When your future is on the line, experience matters. Learn more at www.ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 2, the Brian Daboll era ends in New York. So the final straw. Last week, the day after the Giants, who at the time were 2-8, blew yet another double-digit lead in a loss to the Chicago Bears, their fourth loss in that fashion, he got the boot. Daboll's final record as the Giants head coach is 20-40-1, and that's a 33% winning percentage. And I've got friends who've been Giants fans a long time. It's not the area that you want to be in. So the Giants drafted Jackson Dart in part because Brian Daboll can develop quarterbacks. And now what are you going to do with Jackson Dart? Are you going to let him sit out and take Jameis all year because the Russell Wilson experiment is done? Or are you going to try to brush him back? You got a lot of problems. And then the interim coach, Mike Kafka, he was the assistant head coach and the offense coordinator. He takes over as the interim head coach, and he's trying to get a head job too. So he's got a 6-7 game audition, and then you're going to be right back in the same boat. So got to wish the Giants good luck. It rarely ends well, and I don't know how you're going to handle this situation. But with that, let's talk about the NFLPA's annual report card and how the NFL owners just not happy with it. So the NFL owners believe this is a violation of the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, because the league claims that public report cards violates a clause requiring both the NFL and the union to use reasonable efforts to curtail public comment by club personnel or players which express criticism of any club, its coach, operation, policy. The existing survey, so the CBA already mandates a confidential joint survey every 3 years regarding player care, and this was last conducted in 2015. And of course, the NFL doesn't like negative anything. On the NFLPA side, public shaming works because things get better when you start complaining. So this has been used as an effective tool for change. The union cited data with improvement. 9 teams improved their family scores. 12 teams improved their travel scores. And the owners are a bunch of hypocrites. And yeah, that's kind of par for the course. So what do the grades cover and who got burned? The report cards talk about 11 different categories, including treatment of families, food and cafeteria quality, training staff and facilities, and team travel. So these are all things that are important to players. The head coach and owners get grades, and the highest mark is the gold standard, and the highest workplace environment, Minnesota Vikings, and believe it or not, the Miami Dolphins. The owner of the Vikings, Ziggy Wilf, he gets an A. Stephen Ross from the Dolphins got an A. And Arthur Blank from the Falcons got an A. So the low grades, owners receiving a D, Woody Johnson from the Jets, or as my man Mike Connors would say, the ambassador. Art Rooney from the Steelers, nothing like your family. Robert Kraft from the Patriots, Michael Bidwell from the Cardinals, and David Tepper from the Panthers. Jets chairman Woody Johnson publicly called the survey totally bogus. So again, players pretty much fighting for their right to publicly name and shame their bosses. They're trying to do some transparency. Here's what I think. This might just go away because the owners own for a reason, and they may specifically go into the collective bargaining agreement when it's up and try to come up with something with that. We'll see what happens. But anytime players can kind of share their thoughts, I think we should kind of listen to players and see what we can do to better help them. So with that, in segment 3, not only will we preview next week with an OCP top 5, but we will also celebrate, and I get to do it on a personal level, our 700th episode of the Odd Coaches Podcast. We'll be right back after this message. Hi, everyone. Dr. Keith Adams here, and for over 30 years, I've dedicated my life to helping student athletes succeed, not just on the fields and the courts, but in the classroom and beyond. And that's why I founded the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project understands that finding the balance between academics and athletics is crucial for long-term success. That's why the CKA Save Project offers a range of programs, including personalized consulting, mentorship, and coming in 2027, our innovative Gap Year Basketball Academy designed to assist both young men and women reach their full potential both on and off the court. I'm incredibly excited to announce that the CKA Save Project is now partnering with the Cascade Sports Network. This partnership will allow us the opportunity to amplify our message and reach even more student athletes through the Odd Coaches podcast and other exciting initiatives. Join the CKA Save Project and the Cascade Sports Network as we empower the next generation of student athletes. Visit CKA on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org to learn more. Let's work together to find the balance and help unlock your potential. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast, solo edition. Segment 3, OCP Top 5. So I'm going to go in reverse order. I got the Eagles at 5, and they're about to play Detroit. We tape right when that Sunday night game's about to kick off basketball season. For the Rams are really doing well. Matthew Stafford, hey, my apologies. Sorry about that. You're doing really well. 3, the Colts, they're dominating, and they're doing again. They're kicking tail and taking names. 2, the Patriots, and number 1, Denver, just took care of Kansas City. And Kansas City's over and under for the year was 11.5, and I took the under. And if the playoffs started today, Kansas City wouldn't even be in there. So going again, 1 to 5. Number 1, Denver. Number 2, New England. Number 3, the Colts. 4, Rams. 5, Eagles. But that might be Detroit, depending on the outcome. In terms of games for Week 12, Buffalo and Houston is on Thursday night. Buffalo has to keep winning because they got to keep up pace. And on Sunday, Pittsburgh against Chicago. I got to say, I'm surprised Chicago's playing better than I anticipated. New England's got Cincinnati. The Giants are taking on Detroit. I don't know if the Giants are going to start tanking or not, but they need to start considering that. Minnesota's taking on Green Bay. Very underwhelmed with Green Bay. And Minnesota, JJ might not be it, fellas. Okay. Seattle travels to Tennessee. Don't fall asleep on that game. Indianapolis plays Kansas City, and Indianapolis has a chance to put another nail in Kansas City's coffin. They're going to Kansas City to do that. Jets against Baltimore. I've been unimpressed with Baltimore this year. Cleveland taking on the Raiders. Good luck. Hey, Shador, get in that film room and just be better. You are very underwhelming today. Let's take an opportunity if you're going to play. And I hope Dylan Gabriel is better because he was out because of concussion. Jacksonville, Arizona. Jacksonville should win that. Arizona laid a dud today. Philadelphia against Dallas. Always good for a division matchup. But again, Dallas hasn't played well, but we're sending our best to the Cowboys and their family on their recent tragedy. Atlanta's taking on New Orleans. We might see some Kirk Cousins with that. Here, Penix may be out. And the late Sunday game, Tampa Bay against the Rams. Baker did not look happy with their loss today, but the Rams might have poured on to him. And I don't know how this got through the censors, but Monday Night Football, the Carolina Panthers going against the San Francisco 49ers. We've got Denver on a bye week. We've got Miami on a bye week. We've got the Chargers. Man, you stunk up the joint today on a bye week. And our very own Washington Commanders are on a bye week, and they need to take 2 weeks off because they just haven't looked good. But fans, we have crossed over 700 episodes. It's a heck of a milestone, and quite frankly, I didn't like the direction sports commentary was going in. I grew up on shows like the Sports Reporters on ESPN and Pardon the Interruption, and I like a conversational tone about sports and not very argumentative. Um, so instead of complaining about it, I wanted to do something about it, and I wanted to do something about it through the CKA Save Project. So my tag team partner, Coach Mike Francis, and I have over a 30-year relationship, and story goes, his son AJ Francis, one of the top wrestlers in the country, heard our complaining back and forth about whatever we were talking about. And that was the makings of the podcast, which I wanted to do. And sometimes you just need a little pride to do it. So um, I got on Fiverr and ended up with this great producer, our super producer Kelly, and Kelly's like family to us. And I just had the pleasure of meeting Kelly in person for the first time in the 3 or 4 years we've been doing it. We broke bread, talked Prince, and I love Kelly, man, and he makes us look great. Cousin Sharita is the voice that you hear on the show, and periodically I have to get her to refresh stuff, and it's just awesome to have it. So every week we try to give our audience a conversational yet insightful coverage of sports. We try to be witty, but we try to also be approachable, and we try to break things down so the common fan can hear it. I was talking to one of our panelists, Danny Thompson, who said something to the effect that we've got something for players, we've got something for coaches, we got something for administrators, we got something for fans, we got a little something for everybody, and that's really, really good. And we try to have bold takes and do so with some humor. So I'm excited about 700. I'm excited about another 700. You'll hear all week our different panelists from the various shows kind of share their thoughts. And again, I hope you enjoy the work we do. There's a lot of work that goes into it. So on behalf of our cavalcade of stars, all of them from episode 1 to episode 700, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast, the authentic voice of sports leadership, where coaching wisdom meets real talk, also seen on the Cascade Sports Network. And we will see you on the sidelines. Until next time, take care.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on the X platform at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Keith Adams and the CKA Save Project on social media at CKA Save Project. For more information about the CKA Save Project, visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches podcast.